All right, how's everybody doing today? I'm doing wonderful, thanks. So, I don't know how many of you have seen the movie, what's it called? Clear and Present Danger. Harrison Ford, the president, goes against the drug cartels. So, there's your Clear and Present Danger movie reference. Let's see what else we got in here. Okay, and we'll get back to that one here in a minute. Oh, right here. Okay, so this is The Hunt for Red October. I don't know if any of you have seen that movie. Basically, they're trying to defect with a Russian sub. In order to get everybody off the boat, they fake a nuclear catastrophe on board the boat. So there's your Hunt for Red October playing out. It stays. I said in the last video, if you look at the cities, they mention all those cities in Independence Day, and they actually nuke one of the ships, alien ships, and their comment is it remains. So it remains, it stays. Come on, I'm not the only one that sees this, right? And then I found this interesting. This happened a couple days ago. See all the ice behind him? I told you that was one of our trips through hell, when they talk about the ice age, so to speak. So that's part of that. But also we have this thing, and I've discussed before, that's the pending ice age, these polar dips that we take, and we're about to go through one, they're saying, this week, which again I find really weird, because another movie that comes into mind, the last video I said that they started looking at the 23rd, 24th, the Feast of Trumpets, from the Julian instead of the Gregorian calendar, which takes us to the 6th or 7th. I mentioned that in the last video, which oddly enough brings up another movie reference, 13 Days in October, which has to do with the Cuban Missile Crisis, right? I don't know if any of you have seen that one. So it's kind of weird, the 13 days in October. So is it the 13 days that we're adding, from the 23rd to the 6th? Or do we have to go through 13 days in October to get to, like, say, the 14th? Like I said, I don't know how any of this plays out. I just see the crazy stuff that I see. So, again, these cold plunges represent, because it's a quantum thing. We're not going anywhere. This is all, I said this 100 times, Nikola Tesla. If you want to understand, think in energy, frequency, and vibration. Okay, so vibration we've talked about. You raise your vibration. It's like moving the dial up the radio. When you look at the radio and you turn it on, you're turning on all those radio stations, but whatever your dial is tuned into is the station you're picking up. So when you raise your personal vibration, you can hear different channels. It's not exactly like that, but those of you who understand. It is what it is. So, in the quantum world of living in it, coming out of a black hole, just like I said, Men in Black 3. Before Will, Will goes back in the past. Jay's character, Will Smith, Agent J, goes back to rescue K because he gets killed in the past, right? It changes everything about MIB in his current. It's the same thing that they showed in yesterday's Enterprise. You make a small change in the past. In that case, it was the Enterprise leaving the past and going to the future, which in reality, this was done by them going to the past and altering the future. So, life is stranger than fiction. So, oh, and then the other thing I forgot to mention is we had 2 exploding stars. I'm sure people have heard about that one recently. We had a star explode back in, gosh, I want to say March, somewhere in there. I'm not sure now. And there may have been 2 then as well. I don't remember. I know we had 2 last year, but my whole point being there's nothing out there, okay? In the timeline, you know, again, that's what they say happens to a dying star, right? It implodes upon itself and makes a black hole, supposedly. So, you know, the explosions of stars is symbolic of the star actually being destroyed and creating its black hole. But that, you know, that's just my zaniness. So we had a couple more stars explode, and oddly enough, I've said through the course of all this is the 4 gas giants. You know, funny that there's 4 gas giants and supposedly 4 inner planets. Is what it is. You know, it could be symbolic of their death in the timeline. You know, Saturn, Jupiter, and you know, the rings around Saturn invert everything. They tell you they're made out of ice, or it's probably a firewall. That, you know, that's a freeze frame moment of when Saturn exploded. It is what it is. But that, you know, so like the title says, the movies are playing out. It's movie time. And there's other ones going on that, you know, because I haven't seen those movies, so I can't just bring them but I've seen the movies that I've seen, and I see them playing out. So, who knows? Tick, 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 tick. It's getting close. Okay, love you all. Bye-bye.